Hey everybody, this is Kim with Little Biz Resources, and I am just going live. So I'm going to hop into hopefully the Facebook page and possibly, if I remember, I'm doing it on my phone. Good times, right? Yeah, let me go ahead and hop into that, maybe if it'll let me, and share that into the Facebook group. We are live. Come ask questions. And that's why I put the questions at the end. So it lets people actually get here and plenty of time because of how much I talk, right? All right. So in the meantime, while we're kind of waiting to get going, I don't want the replay to be too long. And of course, anybody can come back and watch the replay when it's done. So I just want to kind of hop into the first part of this, right? So today is September 9th. Let's just double check that because I'm not positive. Yep, September 9th, 7:30 my time, which is mountain time. And we are getting closer to the need to start making traffic, right? I mean, I told you I wasn't too worried about August, but this is September now. So September, we've got to start making some momentum. We've got to do something. So we're going to start fully testing and pushing out as much as we can. Now, the challenge with this is, and we're already in September, so we got September, October, November, and December left for the rest of the year, right? So basically 4 months, a little under 4 months. And if we can't get enough traffic from any of these channels, which I don't want to be negative about this, but knowing what I know about all of these and the research that I've been doing and the testing that has gone into this so far, I have my suspicions this is going to be hard, right? This is going to be really hard. But if we can do it, it'll be amazing. And if we can't, whatever traffic we get, we can learn from. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the resources that are available for those who are newer or new or just missed these, right? The free ebook, $10,000 plus per month with only 10 sales. I wrote that. It is now available. It's at littlebizresources.com/ebook10K. That should be in the description somewhere as well. And that is basically how you can make $10,000 a month with only 10 sales, right? I'm not going to do any spoiler alerts. If you're interested in that, get the book. Now, we also have a free affiliate marketing course, littlebizresources.com/free course. It's completely free. You just go in there, you sign up for the code, or you use Messenger, whichever one you want, and you get the code sent to you, right? And you can put the code in, you can open it. It locks every week, so you need to just keep putting the code in. So just keep the code. Weekly live updates. We do weekly live updates every Thursday right now. And we do live Q&A afterwards. So come back to where you are right now. So if you're here on YouTube or you're here on Facebook, if you're in the group, you probably need to go to the page to get notifications, because I don't go live into the Facebook group. And some people go, well, why not, Kim? You're using StreamYard and I'm pretty sure it can do it. I'm pretty sure it can do it too, but I'm trying to get more traffic to Little Biz Resources page. And so I'm trying to help the algorithm, which means share it into the group, right? It's if you start putting it the same information everywhere, it kind of dilutes that. So that's where I'm like, well, I'm trying to hyper focus that as much as possible. So there's some momentum. Now, we also, of course, have the free Facebook group for those who don't know, and that's fb.com/group/littlebizresources. All right. So that is a recap of the resources available. There's a lot more, but those are the ones I wanted to focus on for now. All right, so let's just quick hop into the progress since last week. I'm going pretty fast this week, aren't I? All right, so last week, now for those who don't know, I have severe asthma. I mean, it's so bad that I have to take a shot every 8 weeks to control it. And you're like, wait, Kim, that's not weird. I mean, plenty of people take shots. Well, this is relatively new. FDA approval didn't come until 2017, so it's extremely new. And the shot without insurance is like $20,000. So, and I'm sure that's an inflated number on their part, but it's an expensive shot and it's still kind of in its infancy. But oh my gosh, it works wonders. In fact, I took it today, and unfortunately, it does take a little bit of time for it to kick in. So 24 hours, still a miracle drug. But it's working a lot better already. Like as soon as I take it, within about 15-20 minutes, I can start to breathe better. But unfortunately, and this is my first time going the full 8 weeks, because they kind of prep you. So this was this last 8 weeks. About 6 weeks in, I started to notice that I couldn't breathe as well, right? And it started going worse and worse and worse. And this last week has been the worst. It's been almost as bad as it was before I even started the medication. So we now know I have 6 weeks to do as much as possible before I can't do any YouTube videos. And yet, look what I did, right? I still posted free affiliate marketing course re-release. That was an update on that. And that's the overview inside. When you get into the actual course, that's the first video, is the overview. And that's that one. So it's kind of like here you go. Here's what you expect. It shows you what's in there and everything else. So if you're like, hey, I don't know if I want your affiliate marketing course, Kim, I know it's free, but maybe I don't want it. Well, you can watch that video on YouTube, completely public, and you can make a decision on whether you like the information you're seeing or not. All right. Then the next one, and I put 10 minutes here, so you know it's only 10 minutes long, right? Then Design Beast review and demo. This is a detailed review and demo of Design Beast. And the reason why I did that, one, is because for some reason reviews and stuff do really well on YouTube. So, but mine's 51 minutes long, and it's detailed for a reason, right? Because I want you to fully see it. Not only that, but it also complements the ebook and some of the videos that are coming out right now. And because of that, I needed to have that out. So that one I got out. Then creating apps as a service. That was in 1 hour and 13 minutes. Okay. That's a long one. It's detailed. It goes through, I use Appamize for my apps now. And my sister and I are both looking at, hey, can we do this? In fact, tomorrow we're going to have an overview for Etsy. We're going to be talking about Etsy stuff. And one of the questions that we're going to talk about is it possible to have an app for your shop on Etsy, and how would that work, right? So we're kind of going to a second project here as we're coming up close to the holidays, and there's a reason why, right? There's a reason why, and that's because Etsy, just like every other marketplace and platform out there that controls you if you're on it, they restrict stuff. So because of that, we decided, we're going to dive into additional marketing ways that you can still use Etsy, right? You can still use Etsy because, you're there, you're established. You don't want to create a whole nother site, but what other marketing methods can you utilize to help you build your following, build your own community, whatever it is that you're trying to do, and get your information out to people? So that's kind of the goal. We're going to test some stuff on that one, but we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And I will actually post sometime tonight. I'll go ahead and get a placeholder, whatever, I'll schedule it for tomorrow. It'll be the same time. So this time tomorrow, and I'll have Chrissy on there. She's got a shop in the top 1%. My shop's in the top 2%. And that's of shops globally, right? Now that doesn't mean we make the most amount of money, right? Just because we're in the top shops doesn't mean we're making the most amount of money. There's plenty of shops that are probably not in the top 1% and 2%, but they still make money because they still make plenty of money because their profits are higher, and so ours are based on sales. We have a high number of sales, and that's what puts us in there. Still, I mean, if you have a high number of sales and you have a profit, then you're going to be making money. So yeah, there you go. All right. So the second version for Amazon of the ebook is in progress. I might come back. So if you get the first version, I may go back and just send it all out to everybody in a PDF format once it's available, because the Amazon version is going to have a lot more content in it, right? There's a lot of content in the first one, but this is going to have a lot more. It's going to expand in areas that I know people struggle in, and help people make better decisions and expand on some of the ideas a little bit more. But, analytics from, I forgot to put the from on there. So let's pull that up. That is from 2.2 to 2.8, right? And so this is actually the dashboard that I got from this Christy Hill person. Don't ask me how I got it. I can't remember. Somebody linked it in a group and I got it. And it's older now. I mean, like I said, it talks about tribe sessions and stuff. I am currently not using communities in Tailwind. That's Tailwind Tribes. Well, it's just now Tailwind Communities. And that is because they do not have the effectiveness that they once did. And that's due to Pinterest changes. Ever since Pinterest went public, everything has changed, right? I've said that when they went public, I expected it. It happened, and it's still that way. They have to make money. I have this argument all the time, mostly with myself, because nobody ever listens to me, but I do not see how a public company can have any other goal than saying our goal is to make as much money for our stockholders. right? I don't see that. I don't understand because that's their goal. It has to be that goal, their goal. In fact, there are laws that protect that goal. But if they have a goal that says, oh, look, well, we're going to give the best experience on Pinterest, and that would sacrifice money for the stocks, they would get in trouble. So they can't have whatever their current goal is on Pinterest to be like, oh yeah, we're going to have this great experience about, they can't have that goal, right? It can't, they're two conflicting goals. So I don't understand this. It's the same thing with just about any of the large corporate companies when they have this mission statement or whatever. And I'm like, nope, your mission is to make money. That's all it can be. The laws say so. So just, it just goes back to my business research days and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so Pinterest, just like everybody else, every other platform has made lots of changes, but I was really excited to see this, right? I haven't done anything on Pinterest. I told you guys, I just posted some YouTube videos. That's all I've done for the week, right? So I was really excited to see that in the last week, I've had 3 sessions from, it says bounce rate 100%, which means they didn't click on anything. So they read what they wanted to and then they left, or they got there and said, oh my gosh, Kim's ridiculous. This is long. And they left. And I suspect that that could be the case, is that they get there and they're like, wait, I want something that's like 2 minutes. And that's part of the challenge with being in the particular niche that I'm in, is that everybody wants quick answers. And that's pretty much the only thing that sells to people is, oh, here you go. Here's 5 minutes to get 5,000 visitors from Pinterest. Run about $5,000 in ads, right? There you go. And the end, hey, that was a really quick thing. So that's what they want, but they want it to be, okay, I want to know how to do it for free and fast. And it doesn't exist, right? It does not exist. And that's the thing that a lot of people who are marketers, they like to believe it does, but it doesn't. And there probably is some sort of happy combination between, here you go, here's the amount you need to spend, this amount in ads, and then this amount, and then these efforts in free traffic to be able to compromise. But without tons of testing, you never know that. And it's going to vary anyway. So anyway, so I was really excited to see this, and I did not go to I don't know how long this has been open. So this was interesting. I think I showed you guys last week that it was showing that SiteGround, which this particular website, I had to move off of SiteGround because it uses Elementor Pro. And we're already getting warnings from various things saying that there's CSS codes and stuff like that in Elementor Pro that were causing, I don't know, issues. Well, then SiteGround made a change that slowed down this particular site, and there was no way to fix it. Right, I couldn't figure out how to fix it. They wouldn't tell me. They moved some stuff. They made some changes, and they said, "Well, your site should be faster." I'm like, "Well, it's not. It's actually slower." So without me doing anything, and it got slower just because of their changes, and they were convinced that it was my end, right? So I had to move it. So I moved it over to another hosting, which is, just as comparable as far as quality, uses different servers and everything. And that's probably where it was that this is a little bit more this site is a little bit more resource intensive. And so more than likely what was happening was that the site was pulling more resources than what SiteGround had allocated to it. So this one, being more resource intensive, had to move. So it moved, and look what came off of, well, you saw that in the dashboard. Let me see if I can figure this out. Hold on. Let's go back a second to where I was. So you can see here where last week I had SiteGround tools was pinging at like crazy. I haven't done anything. I haven't figured out how to use the analytics yet. But what I can say is that it's not there anymore. And so I'm like, well, that is good news, because I don't want to see some bot tools on there. Now, there's probably some in here anyway, but that's the way it is. So it's nice to see Pinterest on there. It's nice to see Facebook on there, because those are two that I like to see traffic coming from there, right? I wonder if I can. So 15 sessions from Facebook, and then of course 3 from Pinterest. And then this one is direct, which means they're probably clicking on a link somewhere. And then this is from google.com. So 11 sessions from there. I don't necessarily accept the sessions from Google. Could be, friends and family. It could be tools. It could be stuff like that. That's doing that I have set up. So I'm not too worried about that one. And this one has another 29 sessions in Google. So it's not a ton of traffic in a week, but hey, I'll take it, right? I'll take the traffic. Now I can artificially inflate the Google numbers. So the ones I want to see increase are going to be Pinterest and Facebook, and we'll talk about Google some other time, maybe not so publicly, since Google owns YouTube. Shh. All right. So it's some progress, right? It's something. I haven't done anything on Pinterest, so it's nice to see that the pins that are there are getting a little bit of movement, because that's the problem with Pinterest right now is you have to kind of twiddle your thumbs and wait. Okay, sorry. I had to make sure my daughter wasn't stuck in the bathroom. You good? The door worked okay?
Yeah, but did your band-aid fall off?
Maybe. Did you find it? Okay. Well, you were right then. It only lasted a couple hours from my shot. My band-aid from my shot. She wanted to know if it fell off. Guess you found it. All right. So now let's go ahead and hop into talking about, you can see I don't have it full screen because I was working on it. All right, so goals for this week. So we've already done some videos for last week. I need to do some shorter videos, but we're going to have to look at that. So I'm going to do 2 Pinterest pins and 2 idea pins. And before I was trying to do per day. And now that I see that that's a huge waste of time, I'm going to focus more on quality than quantity, which honestly, that means not much on Pinterest, because the whole thing about Pinterest is both, right? You want to make sure you, especially when you're not getting any traffic. So I might end up instead of 2 Pinterest pins, I might do more, but I want to have a slower goal this week just to kind of ease into it. Now that we've created the ebook and we have the affiliate marketing course available and easier to get to, we've got, the regular pages that we have on there. We'll have more content coming. We'll have more videos coming, etc. I might have to do more than 2 Pinterest pins anyway, just to get the pins to the content, right? Because if you don't, this is what always cracks me up. I've heard people say this before and they're like, well, I don't get any traffic from Pinterest. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, how many pins are you doing? What do you mean? Well, how many pins are you putting on Pinterest? I don't know what that means. Are you posting your content on Pinterest? How do you do that? Okay, so you're not using Pinterest and you're wondering why you're not getting traffic from Pinterest. That would be why. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get traffic from Pinterest without you doing anything, because anybody from Pinterest can pin your content, right? Anybody. And so because of that, you can still get traffic. But if you aren't pinning, you shouldn't be expecting that, right? So you need to pin content to hope for traffic from Pinterest. And in order to do that, and this is something that I set up before for those of you who did not remember this before, is that on Little Biz Resources, you can see I changed, and I haven't done a whole bunch of content yet because I've been focused on other stuff, but you can see I shifted from even right here, right? So this is landscape, traditional YouTube style, put it on Facebook, whatever. This is the image for it, right? Well, I shifted my featured image to be, I don't know why that one's so much bigger than the other one, but to be, oh, I know why, never mind. This is a full 1080 by 1920 or whatever it is. So I shifted it to be pin friendly, right? So pin friendly is vertical versus this is horizontal. And so, this might be a little bit cleaner on here. And one day I might come back in here and change my entire website. But since most people aren't going to littlebizresources.com, they're going to the article that it's coming in as. If they're going to come in here, and in fact, the one that we saw that they're coming in from Facebook is this one. Or from Pinterest, sorry, not Facebook. So you come in here, this is pinnable, this is pinnable, this is pinnable, and I haven't pinned any of those yet. So I could literally come in here, use Tailwind or just Pinterest, whatever you want to do, and pin it. Now the difference, I don't think you can schedule yet if you just pin it. So I have a little pin it button that comes up, but there's also this thing that lets me. So yeah, I can't. Yeah, you can just pick a board and save it. So you cannot schedule content if you're manually pinning it with Pinterest. With Tailwind, I can schedule it, right? And because of that, that's why I really like Tailwind, is that it makes it super easy to come in here. Once I've done all my work, I can go, okay, schedule. I can put them in different boards. I can even put them into the, I almost said tribes, into the communities if I wanted to, right? So that makes it really easy. And that's why I like it. But I'm going to tell you what, if I don't start to see results better than 3 in a week from Pinterest by the end of the year, Pinterest will be dead to me. And that's because this is ridiculous. I tested this right before they went public, and you pretty much could put any pin to content and you were going to get clicks. Now they're not even showing it to people. So you're doing all the work and you're hoping Pinterest will show people. This is the algorithm, right? This is something we've been talking about, and something, in fact, I could go full screen. Sorry, guys. We've been talking about this, is that we need to, to quote Travis, which is the guy who owns Chatmatic, and I'm sure he was probably quoting somebody else, but it's get off the algorithm, right? You got to get off the algorithm. We've got to stop letting these companies control who sees our content, right? And that's the whole concept. This is what got me kind of reinvigorated about this was Appomise, because it's bypassing the Play stores. It's going straight to somebody's phone. You get to talk to them one-on-one. Well, seriously, it's one to them, to as many as you want. But the whole thing to it is like, you're not getting stopped because Google decides, you know what, you're getting too much of your content through into Gmail, so we're going to put you into spam. Or, hey, you know what, we're going to stop delivering it to people until you start paying for ads. I don't know if they're doing that now, but they can, right? I don't know what their rules are right at this very moment, but I can tell you that any of these companies that are controlling email, they're controlling social media, they're controlling, the traffic in Google, the search engines, they're controlling all of that. And at any moment they can flip a switch that says you get no traffic. That's not right. And so we have got to, as marketers, figure out ways to take people out of those systems and put them into our systems. And right now, the best methods are email, which is still sketchy because most people have personal emails. And email, the reason why email is also so effective is because of the cost. So that's really where it comes down to, is the cost for that marketing channel. And people are used to it, right? SMS, which I think costs a little bit more. I mean, not a lot more, but a little bit more. And as long as you're reaching your engaged audience, then your cost should be fine, because you'll be making money promoting whatever it is you're promoting. And then I would argue apps are the next one. And I've actually said this. I want to go back one of these days and find the video where I said I anticipate apps will be the next big marketing thing for businesses. And that was a couple years ago I had mentioned it. And that was because I could see that, but I also knew that the cost was so far outside the realm of possibility for most business owners that they couldn't do it. Right. I couldn't do it. Now I can because of Appomise, but otherwise I can't. So I do have a review on Appomise if you guys are interested in that. All right. So then outside of Pinterest, Instagram posts and Instagram reels, I said this before, both on Pinterest and Instagram. Specifically, these are video, the idea pins and the Instagram reels, those are video. And I'm trying to come up with some different ways to kind of show off how to make these pretty quick, because you can make them pretty quick. The problem is you have to have somewhere to send them, right? So, and these, both idea pins and Instagram reels, which Instagram, you have your challenge in the first place. They don't even have a swipe up anymore. They've retired that. So you have your own challenges on Instagram, as in most people are going to be going through the single link in your bio. So you have to get creative in what you're doing and what you're posting on there and how you're doing it. And so that was kind of what prompted both the affiliate marketing course and, well, the affiliate marketing course is more supplemental. Most people, for whatever reason, even if they sign up for my free courses, they don't go through the content, right? And because I know that, I start going, you know what? Well, I want the content there for somebody who wants it. I am going to narrow that down to not so many courses because people aren't going through them. And instead, I'm going to only do that in cases where if somebody wants to expand into that, they can go and they can learn more about it. So then the ebook then has a link to it for more information on affiliate marketing. You can get the course, right? It's going to link to a lot of different resources. And so you're interlinking all of your assets, hopefully building up your audience on all these different channels and finding your audience for that matter. But what happens is you also then start to narrow down to one or two or three different opt-ins, right? Where people, okay, if they want to get into my ecosystem, what's the best way to get them in there? Course, not so much, right? They're not making it past the first step. Some people are signing up and signing up. So a lot of people are not, right? So you're like, okay, I have had better luck with a checklist. So why did I write an ebook? Because I wanted to test the ebook. Supposedly ebooks are amazing opt-ins. And I might just do a checklist, right? I might just say, hey, right, here's the checklist to get into that. The problem I had with the checklist, people would sign up, they'd get the checklist, they'd report me as spam. Really, jerks? That's messed up, right? And honestly, I feel like if you're going to report me for something I didn't do, you should get in trouble then. If I should get in trouble for something that I supposedly do, you should get in trouble for the same thing. You supposedly did that. So stop hitting the spam button. Now you can unsubscribe. It's the button right next to it. But yeah, anyway, I have a pet peeve about that. Now, on the other hand, I have had an incident where I've unsubscribed from a company, like, I don't know, 30 times now, right? I've unsubscribed and they'll leave me off the list for like 2 weeks and then they'll put me back on a new list on a new platform or whatever and just start spamming me again. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. How is this possible? So then I have to start hitting put it in spam instead of unsubscribe because now I'm telling my email system not to show it to me, right? So that's what I still don't understand how they can literally, they've got to be doing that to everybody. And I'm sure plenty of people are reporting them as spam. How they're getting through on this is just shocking to me. But I get so much spam that makes it through now in the inbox. I'm like, why do I train my inbox? Because it's not working. Good times, right? So besides Instagram and Pinterest, we've got YouTube. So we're going to have our YouTube goals. And let's aim for 3 videos again. I'm going to do one of them is going to be the second service. So we'll do second service, which is the rewards loyalty. And this goes back to, this is part of my, here, I'll show you on YouTube. I'm going to go to my channel. I'm thinking my daughter is clicked on something again. I don't know how. She shouldn't have this one. So this is my channel, right? So we're live right here, right now. This is creating apps as a service. Now you can come in here to playlists, and right now this is private. You won't see liked videos, and those are my videos anyway. But 9 services you can start selling within 24 hours or less, no experience required, right? And you come in here, and right now, don't want that. Right now we've got, looks like 3 videos. I might need to move these. No, that one's first. That one's second. That one's third. No, that's right. Yeah. So got these 3 in order. And then I'm going to have more because I talk about 9 services. There'll be 9 videos, right? So that's what I'm going to be working on as the second one. But each one of these are going to be lengthy. Why? Because if somebody's interested in selling that as a service, I want them to understand the pros, the cons, the good, the bad. Right. And then, of course, I'm also sharing information specific to whatever resource that I have found that I find useful. People can use whatever they want, but I always preface the whole, okay, look, I'm talking about this program throughout here, right? If you're using a different program, I'm not talking about that. So, because I get people all the time, oh, what about this email marketing stuff? I don't know. I don't use it. So anyway, so we're going to do the second service, which is, I don't know why I just erased all that, but rewards loyalty. And then we'll also do affiliate. We're going to do an affiliate marketing case study. And then we'll try to keep that one short, so under an hour, hopefully under 20 minutes. So an affiliate marketing case study, and then we're going to do, I don't know, we'll do something else. So we're going to do 3, but we'll do rewards, loyalty, affiliate marketing state, and then third option, whatever I come up with for a third option, right? And then let's see. So we got Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, and then Facebook. Now, Facebook is, we've talked about this before, their reach is minimal. But what's weird is that I tend to get, so between YouTube and Facebook, I get more followers, more people that are actually interested in something, right? So I'm kind of leaning towards groups. Now, if you just, and what I mean by this is sharing posts into groups, right? So maybe we'll do, because if I do 5 groups a day, I would need to do, say, 5 groups per day, and we're going to do 3 days in a week. And that's only because I don't know if I'll remember to do it every day. So we're going to do 5 groups per day. So up to 15 groups. Now the problem is going to be that I need to have 5 separate things to share. And that could be YouTube video, which I have plenty of those, right? So we could do a YouTube video. Actually, the 9 services one, I think, gets pretty good reaction from people because there's a lot of people on Facebook that are interested in selling their services. I don't know why. I really don't. I don't know why people are on Facebook trying to sell their services, because the people on Facebook besides the ones trying to sell services, are the people looking at cat videos, right? So Facebook has always been an uphill battle when promoting anything, but promoting business to business on Facebook is it's really hard. So the other thing I might do is let's add in, I'm going to try to move this up a little bit. Let's add in, and I hate the color that it's like this, but we'll change it in a second. LinkedIn, we're going to do 3 posts this week. And those are, I think I did 1 last week, maybe. I don't think I'm going to get any momentum on LinkedIn for a while, but we're going to just go ahead and add them in just for fun and test it out. So we can do YouTube videos. We can do images. Let's go back. Link back to where am I going to link back to? link back to the website, right? Or in the case of the YouTube video. And then we can also share live videos, right? So I might even just maybe I'll do a live video. So one live video, comparable, same topic as YouTube. Maybe 3, well, no, we'll just do that. We're going to do 1 live video and see what happens. The lives have not been getting the reach they once did on Facebook. And because of that, I'm like, I don't know. Facebook keeps minimizing the reach and minimizing the reach and minimizing the reach. And I keep going, I don't know if I like you anymore, which, I mean, I don't have to like them to use them. So YouTube video, link back to website, share live videos. Those are kind of the gist of it, right? I mean, I could go to other social media besides YouTube, but share live videos and maybe also, I don't know, share about the Facebook group maybe. The other thing is the Facebook group, the reach in the Facebook group is minimal, right? I mean, we can be completely active in there and we're not, but we could be completely active in there. And I'm still not seeing much more than a 2% to 5% reach. And I'm like, that's the same as pages. That's the same as, why is the group such a minimal reach? And I know there's some groups that get better reach than that, but I question if I should be promoting the Facebook group because we don't have active people. In fact, most people who come into our group will just message me instead. They don't want to post anything in the group. They don't want to post their questions. They want to post and they just want to message me and have me answer it. And I'm like, I just post it in the group. Half the time I don't even get my messages. Just post it in the group. I'll probably see it. I don't know. It hasn't even been showing me. I'm the admin and it has been showing me notifications. So, which we talked about, I think last week. So, all right. So those are going to be our goals for this week. And then next week, we are going to dive into what, if anything, is working, right? Because if I do all this work in a week, am I going to make any progress? I mean, because you're asking people, when we're asking people to do free marketing methods, we're saying, hey, you don't need to pay for ads. Just do free marketing methods. I hear this all the time, right? You'll notice that there's almost nobody promoting SEO anymore, though. And that's because it's a nightmare. If you're brand new, you can't. It's not a nightmare to get seen on Google now. I mean, you can, it's just really hard. So instead, they talk, there's still the long tail keywords and everything else, if you've heard about that for SEO, but it's not as viable of an option unless you're a local business because there's less competition then. So that's the only thing that people pretty much talk about nowadays for SEO. But but people always say, oh yeah, I get a ton of free traffic from YouTube. Do you? Now, if you're starting out from scratch, probably not. And thankfully, our YouTube channel is not scratch. It's got 50 something subscribers. In fact, I think we've had, we'll go to the stats real quick because that's a good one too, is YouTube Studio maybe. We've got, see, this is what I don't like. I even have a comment on this one, right? 11 views, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. It's an hour-long video, and I've got timestamps in there. I'm like 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and I'm like, that's weird to me that it's so low for the average duration, right? And then this is my typical range is 3 minutes, 49 seconds to 5 minutes, 3 seconds. And I'm like, man, I need to make 5-minute videos or less, apparently. it's impossible to do. I mean, I guess if you're to make one tiny point, I could just do a paragraph per video. Get a lot of videos then, right? Have a lot of playlists. So anyway, so what I wanted to show you though is that this one says +6 in the last 28 days. So that's actually some movement. And we hadn't been posting on YouTube for a while, and then we kind of started posting, but we were mostly focused on building the free courses. And then when nobody was watching them, I threw a fit. You can go back to other videos and watch that. So yeah, so it was kind of neat to see that everything's going up, which is good, other than the average view duration. But I expect that this isn't everybody's cup of tea, right? They don't want a full hour long presentation of creating and selling business apps. They just wanted to say, oh, hey, what's this business app? In fact, it's very likely that a lot of people that are watching this are people who just want one and thought, oh, I could click a button and get it. I don't know why, but I don't know. And until somebody says something, I don't really know. So anyway, yeah, there we go. That's YouTube for you. So if for whoever is on, I know I can see it should say multiple. So I don't know if it's just reporting me or what. I'm actually on like 2 different things watching, and it never did show up for the numbers. So I have no idea how many people are on or who is on. But if anybody is on, we're going to do live Q&A now. So let me actually do this. We'll do live Q&A, right? What questions do you have? What is working for you? What I don't know. What do you want help with? What do you want help with? Tomorrow, I mentioned this before, that we are going to do an Etsy. It's going to be an overview. Well, it's going to be. Wait, hold on. I actually wrote down. Wait, bloop, 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 bloop. I went too far. All right. So can you have your own app for Etsy, for an Etsy shop? So my sister and I are going to actually dive into this and ask questions. We'll probably play with it more tonight because we've been playing with it, but we're going to dive in specifically looking at it from an Etsy standpoint. And, can you have your own app? Not an Etsy app, obviously. It's going to be your own business app. So we might do your own business. Oops, that is not the right letters. Business app for an Etsy shop plus live Etsy Q&A. So Marjorie asks, is there a limit to how many YouTube videos you can post at one time? No, not really, Marjorie. I mean, it's really based on your internet speed, because it's the upload speed is really the problem. But I know there are some software programs that have had issues where they're like loading up like 5 and 6 and 10 at a time. And it sometimes will throw an error because Google does have bot protection built in even into YouTube. So but yeah, you can go in, and if you wanted to post like 15, you can just post 15 if you want to, because there's nothing stopping you from doing that. Now, and I think we've talked about this. I might have talked about this with my sister. In fact, we had this conversation. So she was starting her channel, and she's like, look, I know you're supposed to do like one a day, but that just seems like it's going to take a really long time before you have a lot of videos up. And for the niche that she's doing, you want to have a lot of videos up because people are going to hop from one topic to another looking for stuff. And so you want to be there and you want to be ready when they're looking for it, because she's doing all old content. Well, she's addressing content that is older, but other people don't have. So she's filling that gap and helping people with something, which nobody in our group would care about. But, so the whole thing is that she's like, well, if I only do one a day, after a week, I only have 7 videos. It's going to take a long time to do that. And I said, well, no, just, go post, if you have 10 videos, go post them, put them up there. So she did that, and she does more than that, but she's still building the content at the same time. So she can't do a ton, but all right. So I've uploaded videos for one of my customers, and I started the description with the site URL. Oh yeah. I was in one other time, and then we got a channel suspension notice. So wait, so you started the description with the site URL. Yeah, it's possible. So again, Marjorie, they do have bot protection in place. So if you just started the channel, it's brand new, you might want to go slower. I don't know that they would have a problem. Well, let's see. Let's ask YouTube. Let's ask Google. Google, what's your limits? So does YouTube can you upload what did you ask me? How many? Okay, what is the number, the max? Wow. Videos you can load to YouTube in a day. So this may be something that they've added in recently. Oh yeah, I did put load instead of upload. How many video uploads? This is from 2015. See, this is where, oh, and this one says, sorry guys, but you were all wrong. Let's see what it says on Quora then. So this is in 2020. So here you go. YouTube only allows its users to upload a measly 30 videos per day. Again, I don't know why you would be like, I want more than 30 videos a day. And I'm a sound maker, need to upload way more sound effects per day than that. YouTube needs to raise the upload limit to at least 50 to 100 videos per day. Yeah, so my guess is it's going to be based on your specific channel. This one says, this one's from in 2018, he was limited to 50. And then this one says 100 videos per day. So obviously there is one, and you were well under 30. Okay, so I would guess if it was it a brand new channel, Marjorie? Brand new. I mean, did you just start it either that day or within the last like month? No. Okay. So then my only guess would be something must have flagged it. Because and I've had this happen in the past where I've had like limits placed on accounts, usually on Facebook, not on YouTube. But if you haven't gone in and done all your verifications and everything else, so like they want a verified account, they want it, and if it's older, you may have to go in and re-verify information, right? So like if I have an account from 10 years ago and I haven't done anything with it, and all of a sudden I go in there and I start doing a bunch of activity, that's going to be a red flag to them. So just think about it as if it looks like suspicious activity, then YouTube is going to they're going to put limits somewhere. So you should be able to put more than that in there, but you might want to see, like, if they just said, hey, we're going to give you, it was a channel suspension notice. So were they saying, hey, we're seeing suspicious activity, or was it we're suspending your channel? And then what is the long, I just got to click on this. So wait, no suspicious activity. They just suspended it. You just loaded the stuff and then they suspended it, or they warned you in advance. So I guess I should say, was it a warning or an actual suspension? So they suspended the channel. Huh. So that is interesting because there must have been something wrong with the channel, and there must have been something wrong with it. Whether it had no details, that doesn't surprise me. Now, YouTube, was this recently? Because they just sent out an email within like the last month or so saying that they're changing it. So they're not going to just suspend accounts anymore for fun. Not that they were doing that before. I am streaming live on YouTube. I'm not saying that they were doing that before. I am saying that they are aware of the fact that some channels are getting obviously lumped into their bot detection or their spam detection or whatever it is, and they have made a change. Okay, so it was recently. So let me see if I can remember what it was called. Just see if I can go to YouTube, if I can search for YouTube and see what happens. Oh, that was a bad idea. If you could see my emails now, right? What about from, I wonder where my emails would come from. YouTube.com, maybe? That didn't help it. Oh, wait, there we go. New reply, new reply, new reply, new reply. Where is their notification? It may not come from them. It may come from Google too. Okay, so here's one that's a change of service. This one's old. This is May 25th. This is not recent. And it's not even to this account. So Yeah, I honestly, they did. I can't remember what it said. YouTube, it was recently. It was within probably the last month, maybe 2 months. And so they did a change, obviously. So they made an algorithm change to how they're detecting something. So you could either create a new channel and try again, because here's the thing is that you got two things that could have happened. One, new channel, lots of new activity. They determine it's bot activity and they shut it down. Second option, older channel, lots of new activity. They determine that the account's been hacked, something went wrong, and they shut it down. Right. So, but we don't know what triggers that. So you could do it exactly everything right. And there could have been, hey, they maybe they validated the account with a specific phone number and they haven't looked at the account again. You did a bunch of activity. They look at it again and they're like, oh my gosh, that phone number is attached to this other one that got shut down for some reason, maybe because the phone number changed or whatever. And then all of a sudden it gets shut down. This is the same thing that happens on Facebook, right? So this happened to Travis. He's the guy who owns Chatmatic, and he had an account. Well, I mean, he still does now. He got it back, but he had a Facebook account. He was running ads on it, by the way, and he couldn't get the ads shut down. So he's paying for ads that he can't even access. So anyway, so he's on Facebook, he's running ads and everything, and all of a sudden his entire personal account is shut down, suspended. And he's like, what happened? And so he's trying, and thankfully he was, he built Chatmatic and everything. So he had contacts. And they're like, look, your account got shut down because you are an admin on this Facebook page that was linked to whatever, spamming or stealing people's money, whatever it is, right? He's like, what the heck? I mean, it's not my page. I was an admin on it because I needed access to it to be able to, connect Chatmatic or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly what it was. He talked about this once for a really long time. But it took him weeks to get it back, and he had nothing to do with that page. He had been added as an admin to get access to something and then never got removed. Right? He never got removed, and he didn't ever think about, okay, yeah, I need to remove myself from it or anything. He just didn't. So he was just remotely linked to that page. And so his personal account got shut down, even though he did no activity on that other page or anything else. That's what happens with an algorithm, right? Algorithms, they put the rules in and then they turn around and say, okay, well, these are the rules and there are no exceptions. And so then you have at the front end, so let's say that you try to reach out to YouTube and say, hey, wait a second, why did my channel get shut down? I was just loading up my content. And they go, oh, well, it's final. That's all they tell you. It's final. And you go, but I don't understand why. And that's because they don't know why, right? They have no idea why. It's an algorithm that was put in place. So they're just defaulting to the fact that the algorithm was correct. And 99% of the time it will be. But that 1% when it's not correct is, and you know what, Marjorie, I would have to see the content, but I suspect, well, and I should say this, was the content ever on another channel? Like, were you moving it from one channel to another channel? Is it loaded anywhere else on the internet, like on Facebook or on a web, on self-hosting or anything else? Because that could be another thing, is that somehow that content got submitted as protected copyright content and they scanned it into their database, and you load up 2 or 3 videos and all of a sudden you've got more flags than the account can handle, and it just shuts it down. So there's a lot of different variables that can play, but theoretically, if you have brand new content that's 100% unique and you're loading it to your channel, 30 videos a day should be fine. But then I should say, and how long are they and everything else, and what's the content of it? Because if there's certain words in there that may flag it, or if it's okay. So yeah, and then embed it on your site. So you load the YouTube first and embed it on the site. So yeah, I don't know. It sounds kind of sketch to me, but I'm sure it does happen. So YouTube suspension for loading too many videos. Let's see what this says. Okay, so here's one. Reason channels get shut down. It says they get an email explaining the reason, but so they could have considered it spam. A single case of severe abuse, such as predatory behavior, spam, and pornography. Channels or accounts dedicated to a policy violation like hate. So this is another one I would suspect, right? Hate speech is arbitrary, right? It's kind of arbitrary. So you can say, I don't like green beans, and lovers of green beans could theoretically, not that this is a ridiculous example, but theoretically, lovers of green beans could then go on there and say, look, this person's got hate speech. And enough people report it. Now, of course, if you loaded it in one day, more than likely you don't have people reporting it. So their bot can also detect this, right? Their bot can also detect this. It scans everything. It scans the words that you say. It scans the words it thinks you say, I should say, because I can't tell you how many times, if you go back and you watch the subtitles of mine, it's automatically generated by YouTube. It'll say, hey, Kim here with, and it's not Little Biz Resources. They come up with some weird thing like every single time. So I always find it entertaining to watch that. But back when Alonzo was active in our group, he'd always assure me that it's not a big deal, because he liked watching the subtitles because English is not his primary language. And he's like, the subtitles help me because if I miss a word or I don't understand it, I can at least get the gist, the general idea of it from the subtitles then, because it's translating it for him. And I was like, oh, well, good to know. I'm like, is it like weird sometimes? He's like, yeah, but I get the general idea and it helps a lot. So I'd say it's still good enough, but it's far from perfect. All right. So then, and now it says you can appeal using the form. So if you don't submit appeal request more than once, and then completely as possible, and use your channel ID. So if your channel was terminated due to copyright infringement claims, you can, so it looks like you can always appeal, at least, and even if you don't know why, you could at least go in there and use the form and appeal and say, look, this is the information that I do have. This is what I was doing. And if it violates one of your policies, I apologize. And I will, I'm open to changing it. Can you tell me what it was? So you look at community guidelines, terms of service. So review those first. So this one's spam, and they have it in here. So video spam, content that is excessively posted, repetitive, or untargeted, and does one or more of the following. Gets clicks, views, or traffic off YouTube by promising viewers that they'll make money fast. That doesn't happen anymore. Sends audiences to sites that spread harmful software, which, that's, if you're going to end up downloading a Trojan or something, that would be horrible. Misleading metadata or thumbnails, scams, incentivization spam, comment spam, repetitive comments, live streams. So this one targets people who are watching videos and leaving comments to help. It's usually those like for like places and stuff. Live stream abuse, intended to stream content that belongs to somebody else or not correct. Okay, so if it legitimately, you can obviously go through. They have some video spam. Here's what this is, etc. So you could go through these, find out if any of these are related. If you're like, hey, it could have looked like that, even if it wasn't. You could say, there's so many different things that it's a bot. It's a bot. So something could have triggered it that it shouldn't have triggered it. So just make sure you go through and say, okay, I didn't do all of these things, and let them know. I've reviewed all of these. I've reviewed the terms of service. I've reviewed the community guidelines. I've reviewed the various forms of abuse. The email I received did not tell me what I did wrong. This is what I was doing. The channel is new. They're my client. I'm trying to help them. And I was loading up their videos that they have, and I needed to load 27 videos, right? And you say, okay, I was trying to load up these 27 videos because it's already content that they have, and I wanted to have it on there to be able to embed on their site and everything else, and, and help people on YouTube or whatever it is. So then they can review that and make a determination. More than likely, because this happens a lot. This is why they have a form and everything, right? And like I said, I got an email on one of my channels and one of my emails that said that they recently changed the one strike. In fact, here you go, community guidelines, strike basics, right? So this just changed. They have very few where they give you strikes. So the warning, first strike, second strike, third strike. And so this is where they say 3 strikes. So again, that's where I go back to. If you were loading content, and I'm going to tell you what, Marjorie, copyright is not limited to your entire video, right? I got a copyright flag once. I got it off, but I got it once. I was doing a how-to video, right? And I opened up Facebook and I was going through my page and like where to click and everything else. I'm like, click here, do this, do that. And on my feed was some baking video from, I don't know, Tasty or something, right? And I shouldn't say that. I can't remember which one it was. I hate them now, whoever it is. And if I saw them again, I'd be like, I hate you, but it's not Tasty because I still get their stuff. But because that video was in this little teeny tiny box on my screen, I got a copyright flag and I pulled down my video. So let's say you have 3 of those at the, you have one, and it can take them time, right? So you could be loading the first, let's say you're loading 10 videos and you've loaded the first 5. And by the time you get to the 10th one, you ended up with 3 strikes, even though it told you when you were loading it, it didn't have any issues because they do that now, but it's a tentative one. But you could have been loading it and somehow it pulled out 3 strikes and shut it down. Right. So this is one of those, but again, this just changed the way they do this. So I would take a look at this because this is the email I got where they are changing their strikes on here. And I can't remember when they updated this, but it was very recent, very recent. So what to do when you get a strike? Check the community guidelines. If your channel got a strike and you think we've made a mistake, let us know. You can appeal this decision here. So yeah, just appeal it and, see where if they tell you no, are absolutely not. I would look at the content then. If they tell you that, hey, we don't care, this was a one-time, we're not even interested in looking at this, look at the content. It's more than likely something controversial. And that's what tends to be, think about this, okay? And watch, I'm gonna get flagged for this, but if you were talking about shots, like I was earlier, right? And you were saying, hey, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend you get a shot. And it's a specific type of one, and that's in one of your videos, you are opening yourself up to a world of hurt simply because you're going against YouTube's public stance on that. And I hope you guys can get the inference there, because I'm not saying that, right? I'm not saying I recommend or don't recommend it. I'm just saying that if you were to put that on there, and this is the same problem that we've seen with lots of content where it falls under, in this case, that case, it would be misinformation or bad information or hurtful information. I can't remember what exactly they define it as, but kayaks, archery, and survival. I was going to say survival, Marjorie. I was going to ask you if it was survival. So there are a couple of niches that get tagged on YouTube. Politics, right? So politics, and then think anything conservative almost. So survival tends to be one that gets flagged a lot. I don't know why. I have no idea why. If there's, maybe because if there's references to guns, which, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of videos out there that have content that's related to survival and it survives just fine. But if you're loading up several videos related to it, there could be, again, if you're going by a 3-strike policy, they could easily within those videos ended up under the bots getting 3 strikes. So I would say review the notice again, see if they have anything specific. If they don't, go back, Google it. I could have just saved that page, but I think I did not. Let me go ahead and link this to you. Yep. I'm telling you, Marjorie, I don't know why. I have no idea why, but they have this thing where it's like there's something with survival that it triggers it. And I've heard this a lot from people who are in that industries that not necessarily at first, but eventually they'll have a video, they'll have their channel suspended, and they have to appeal it. So obviously there's something in the bot that, that determines that is skewed and looks at that. So I don't know why. Again, I don't know why, because it shouldn't be that big of a deal. That's not something that's like bad or anything. In fact, I would argue that it's good to talk about survival. But for some reason, that seems to be one of the niches on YouTube that gets tagged a lot more than it should. So like I said, so it's politics, religion, and then a lot of conservative topics. So survival, if you're like, want your baby to live. Try not to use the words. So pretty much anything on the conservative side, those all tend to get flagged. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And you just got to go through the steps. But like I said, go fill out the form, make sure, just say, look, I've reviewed the community guidelines. I reviewed the terms of service. I reviewed the, different abuse types. I don't see anything, I don't see anything in there. Can you, if I can't get this restored, can you please provide me guidance on this or something? I wouldn't even say if I can't get this restored. I would just say, look, I don't feel like I've done anything wrong. And you have to look at the form. I'm not going to click it because I'm in my account and I don't want them to do that. So anyway, yeah, just go through, be as begging as possible because that's better than being confrontational. But yeah, that's a really good question because it shouldn't, like I said, right now somebody's reporting 30, another person's reporting 50. You might want to limit it when you're first getting started because it goes back to that whole bot activity. But if you're going to regularly load 10 videos a day, then you should be able to load. You should start out loading 10 videos a day. And if that's a problem and they have, and again, if you have a brand new account and you do that, you could get shut down. You just need to appeal and say, look, my content marketing is that I put out 10 videos a day. And that's because YouTube has provided guidance that I need to keep my videos shorter. So I take my topics and I break it up. Right. And so if you just say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Yeah. And even then, if you're only going to do, 2 per day, still not, it's definitely not a lot. I've done more than 2 per day. I'll load up 3 in a day and schedule them out for 3. I think I loaded up 4 in one day and scheduled them out. Right. My problem is I can't make them that fast. Because they're an hour long. But then you may want to also, the other thing you could do in 60 to 90 seconds. Yeah. See, and that's the whole thing. My sisters are that way too, right? She's only got a couple minutes maybe on the high end. And so she's putting in videos that are maybe a minute and a half long. She could easily put 5, 10, 15, 20 in there. And that's what that guy was complaining about, or lady, I don't remember, on Quora. Oh, I need more than 30. I need 50 to 100 because they're doing these soundtracks or whatever that are 2.5 minutes long. And so if that's what you're doing and that's your strategy, and then here's the other thing is that YouTube Shorts just got implemented. YouTube Shorts are under a minute. You could do 100 of those in a day, unless you're Kim, because you can't make them under a minute. It's impossible for Kim, that is. That'd be me. So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that happens, but as soon as you said survival, that kind of makes sense to me. And Marjorie is just one of those. That's one of those niches that end up being targeted, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it, unfortunately. In fact, a lot of times, if you aren't doing it to get traffic from YouTube, you might put it on Vimeo instead, and just say, hey, look, you guys need to pay for hosting on Vimeo if that's what you're looking for is hosting. If you're looking for, hey, I'm trying to build up a channel, then you're going to have to work with YouTube and figure it out. But if it's not about driving traffic from YouTube, look at a different video hosting option like Vimeo, which they're much more lenient when you're paying them. I don't know about the free side, but when you're paying them, you can put pretty much whatever you want on there. I say that loosely. I don't put questionable content, or at least I try not to. I know some people think that what I talk about is questionable, but I don't see why. I don't get it. Maybe back in the day, not today. So, all right. Well, if you have any other questions, post them in there, Marjorie. And that is a frustrating situation to be in. But thankfully, unlike places like, Facebook, YouTube does have a form that you can follow, and you can, appeal and hopefully get somewhere with that. I mean, worst case is have them create a second channel and add you as an admin and load up and see what happens again. If they don't let you get the first one back, I would strive to get the first one back. So good. Yeah, no problem, Marjorie. I'm glad that you asked me something I can answer. Even though I did Google some of it. But yeah, those are the, yeah. And Marjorie, the same stuff we've talked about in Facebook about topics that Facebook blocks, it's going to leak over into all the other ones too. Why? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it, but this is nothing new, right? Censoring information is not new. We've faced this our entire life. and before that. My daughter's bugging me. She wants to talk. Well, she's not bugging me. She's whispering loudly. Right? Yeah. Do you have a joke you want to share real quick?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember. I know we did jokes at the beginning last week, but this week we're going to go ahead and we'll let her finish up with a joke or two.
I just have one.
Just one joke? Okay. She's going to come over for one joke. Okay, you got to talk into the microphone here.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Police.
Police who?
Please let me in.
That's funny. All right. All right. So that's it for today then. Marjorie, I appreciate you hopping on. Anybody else who hopped on, I appreciate that as well, since my numbers are not right at all. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions that you were just too shy to post there, post them in the Facebook group. Don't email them to me because I won't ever see it, but you can post them in the Facebook group. And if you have to have it private, just message me then, directly or whatever through Messenger, because I mostly get that. In fact, I think I have one now that I don't know who it's from. So yeah, anyway, unfortunately, it's really difficult with every, once I put my email out there, I get spammed galore, and that's what happened. So yeah, we're just kind of stuck to what's the best way to ask questions. Just ask them. And if the Facebook group is private, so it's not like it's open to the public, you request to get in, you say you agree that you're not going to be spamming and blah, blah, blah. And then you can ask questions in there. If it's something that you think is sensitive, you could always post in there. You can post saying, hey, Kim, so tag me and say, I have a question, and give me a general idea of what it's about. Not sure it's good for the public. Is there any way you could do it privately, right? And then I would probably just have you message me, and then I would, do something like that. But yeah, for the most part, most questions should be able to be public. There's very few that need to be private. But again, Facebook group is not public, so it doesn't go out to the public where everybody can see it. Anyway, so that's it for now. Thanks again for coming, Marjorie, and anybody else. And I will see you guys next week. Tomorrow, if you want to do Etsy, that's the same time. So 7:30 Mountain Time. That's what 9:30 Eastern Time. And we're going to do the same thing, same place. I'll have the little schedule thing up in YouTube and Facebook page, and I'll share it into the group as well in the next couple hours. So, all right. Well, thanks again, and I will see you guys next week.